Welcome everybody, my name is Ben. I'm going to be a remote operator for this drive. I'll be monitoring the vehicle remotely. If you've got any concerns or questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to assist.
All right, thanks, Ben.
Alright, so everybody has their seatbelts on. I guess we're ready to begin.
And so this is by design. You can obviously see Ben, which gives someone sitting in a vehicle with no human driving it, perhaps no steering wheel, no brake pedal, no gas pedal, more confidence that there is still a human in the loop who can help if anything goes wrong.
And he can see what you see, and you can see what he sees.
And I can see a steering wheel moving on its own. Jordan, you don't even have your feet on the pedals or anything, do you?
Yeah, I'm ready enough, right? But, I have a lot of confidence in our system.
Yeah.
Well, and that brings up another good question. God forbid something should happen. Are people able, Elliot, to pick up and take over in an emergency?
Yeah, so right now Jordan is in the safety driver position, so if anything goes wrong, if he so much as even touches the steering wheel, it disengages and Jordan is then taking over the vehicle.
And then the other great thing about our system is that, and this has happened, it's built in a way if there's any problem that arises, usually I wouldn't even have to intervene. We sort of have systems in place to bring the car safely to a stop.
We have a simple AI layer that if something goes wrong with our system, so think about it as a sandwich. There's the autonomous vehicle, then there's us, which is the safety solution on top of the autonomous vehicle, and then if something goes wrong and everything drops, all service drops, there's a simple AI layer that will get the car safely stopped and outside the flow of traffic.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Amazing technology.
Hey Ben, take a right here. I'm kind of disobeying myself. It's fine.
Elliot Katz, the co-founder of Phantom Auto, which is responsible for this pretty awesome autonomous vehicle here. For those of us laymen, Elliot, how does it work?
So we're actually not an autonomous vehicle, we're a remote controlled vehicle. And basically what we do is teleoperation as a service. So autonomous vehicles, the technology that's powering those vehicles has become incredible. It's about 98% of the way there. But in the same way you wouldn't get into your vehicle today if it only operated 98% of the time, we believe the same is true for AVs. So we enable a technology that allows a human to stay in the loop remotely. So today we're at the Sacramento Kings All-Star bid, and we had a remote operator in Mountain View, California, driving our vehicle here in Sacramento. We've also demonstrated the same thing, Mountain View, California to Las Vegas, driving at night, in the dark, in rainy conditions, oftentimes with no lane markings, which are scenarios that a lot of times give AVs some issues. We don't have those same issues because it's a human driving the car in just a remote location.
And it is always a human remotely operating it. It's never autonomous. I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. So the one thing, and not that I'm, poo-pooing the technology at all, but I do a lot of head on a swivel when I'm driving. How does the remote operator have that ability to see what's around them?
So our remote operators can see virtually 360 degrees around the car. They have much better vision unless you're Beetlejuice. You can't obviously rotate your head 360 degrees. So our remote operators can have better vision. They can also hear what's going on inside and outside of the car. So if someone's honking at them, if someone is speaking to them, they can hear that as well.
Okay, so without giving away any trade secrets, how does the technology itself work?
Sure. So we do bonding, so multiple cellular networks. So the best way to think about it is, say you're walking down the street with your cell phone and you are with Verizon. So you're walking down the street, you're talking, and Verizon automatically knows I'm about to drop, I don't have service, so it goes over to Sprint. Then I'm about to drop because I'm on Sprint, and it goes over to AT&T. Our car uses all cellular networks, and it automatically knows, without getting too much in our secret sauce, which service is the best, so that we always can get low latency. And that's pretty high level of what we do, but it's hard to delve a little bit deeper than that because that starts getting into the secret sauce.
Then it would be way over my head anyway. I'm not as smart as you guys. So I would guess then, with that in mind, there's pretty much no place you can't go.
So there is, at times, places, like say you're on 280 and there's a complete dead zone where no one can get service, not AT&T, not Verizon, not T-Mobile, etc. We would know that beforehand because we do a simple mapping process. So we don't do mapping like AV companies do. What we do is we map the network. So we go with a box, driving in a car, and for every latitude and longitude, we know data points such as bandwidth and latency, so that we know the dead spots beforehand, if there are any, and if they exist, then we simply don't drive in those areas.
Okay, well, safety first, I would assume, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So I think the big question is, for an event like this, how big of a fleet can you mobilize?
So a couple things. So there's two different things that we do. We do teleoperation as a service for autonomous vehicles, and that's in edge case scenarios. That's in scenarios where the vehicle itself cannot operate. So a complex construction site where you have someone giving hand signals, many vehicles going back and forth, or if there's a failure of the technology of some sort. The other thing that we do is full remote operation of vehicles today. So we can create the driverless car experience with the driver sitting, perhaps 500 miles away. And we can do that with any number of vehicles right now. We already have some customers in the trucking logistics space that are using us for that type of operation. We're also in talks with airports, arenas, and ride-sharing companies to further expand that operation as well.
So do you have a rough number of how many, like for the All-Star game here, how many you would send our way?
So, it's completely up to the customer. However many cars, we can operate them. And then on the other side, teleoperation as a service, since we're just dealing with edge case scenarios, we could have, say, one remote operator for 5 vehicles, right? Because they're only coming in at, when there's a situation where the vehicle can't handle. And as the underlying technology gets better and better, that number will get higher, right? 1 to 10, 1 to 50 perhaps.
All right, very good. Elliot Katz, co-founder of Phantom Auto. Thanks, Elliot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.